right, we're live, but the frame.
I know, I see that. All right. Hey there.
Hey,
Welcome to the Doghouse. I'm Brisco.
and I'm Richard.
And welcome to our channel. We're Dog Stare. And tonight we wanted to talk about the upcoming album that we have slated to come out on September 11th. And it took, like I'd mentioned in a previous video, it took about a year to record. It went through various stages that we did when we were recording. We started out actually on a Tascam Model 12, and we tried going that route where we were going DAW-less. And then...
using outboard gear to try and get the best sound we could. But
yeah. And it's a 2 preamp and compressor and a 15-band EQ. And they're all stereo, so there's 2 channels for those each. So... and then we just felt like, while it's cool to do it straight to the device that you're recording to, in this case the Model 12, we saw the limitations right away.
it just wasn't. We weren't getting what we were wanting.
No, we weren't, and we at that time too we were also doing drums with the
SR16.
Yeah,
The Alesis.
Yeah, and you know what? It was actually a good experience. It got him kind of into wanting to learn how to program drums, and then in the end, he ended up doing all the programming for the drums via Logic.
Yep, 3 Macs later.
Yep, and so it's been a really interesting experience, and you know, some of the things that happened while we were recording was there were things that would happen that we didn't intend to have happen. Yet they ended up being pretty cool, and we decided to keep them in the song.
Yeah.
For example, the microphone that August is, being picked up on right now with, that was on by accident. We thought we had the 57.
We had primed the wrong microphone, and this one recorded a guitar part that I had done. That ended up in the song anyway because it fit. It fit the part. The part fit the sound, and the sound fit the song.
What song was it?
It was Like Jesus.
Like Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. All the guitar parts where I'm going off. That's this microphone right here. And the cab was in the other room.
In our family room.
Yeah, in the family room. It wasn't even a direct. It wasn't even a direct line of sight.
Correct. Yeah.
It was bouncing off walls and everything, and it ended up being salvageable.
Yeah,
actually,
well, not even that. It actually added tremendous texture and depth to the song.
It totally did, yeah.
And then he still ended up playing his part and recording it with the 57 to his cabinet like we were intending to.
Just a rhythm, though.
Just a rhythm,
yeah.
Right. But still, nonetheless, so that in reality on that song, you've got, what, 2, 3 guitar parts going?
No, just 2.
Just the 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I have my 2. I've got my rhythm part and then the solo. So, but yeah, no, it's been really interesting. And, one of the things that August and I are up against recording here in Tacoma, we're in a bedroom studio. You can see there's some sound treatment on the walls to help, with the reflections. But there's a lot of, I've told August this bunch, Tacoma is one of the noisiest cities I've ever lived in. And I've lived in, a handful of cities. And by far, this is the loudest city. And so one of the things that we actually got pretty lucky with was then in the recording, we don't have any loud cars bombing up the street.
Or just, drive-bys.
Yeah, exactly. So, or Xerxes barking, our dog.
Or even him just walking will set off little tiny plosives into the microphone.
Little click clacks.
Yeah.
Which he's actually sleeping right over here on the floor next to us right now.
He's hanging out with us right here. Yeah.
So,
yeah. And he ended up on the album cover. So he helped.
Yep.
He totally helped. He helped with the name of the band.
Yeah, because we both love dogs, and August is a cat lover too, which is good. But we love dogs, and so dog steer is just something that we thought up. I mean, there's one thing that when you encounter a dog for the first time, there's one or two things it usually does. It either stares at you or it wants to sniff you or bark at you if you're a threat to it. But I mean, if it's a non-threat situation and the dog's friendly, either a lot of times, even as a friendly dog, it'll stare at you.
Yeah.
And when the dog's staring at you, you always wonder, what is the dog thinking?
Yeah.
You know, is it sizing me up or is it...
There's clues, but you never really truly know.
Right. So
it's an interesting concept.
Exactly. So that's why with dog stare, and as you'll see with the material that we're going to be bringing to you, this first album is pulling out a lot of my old material. And actually, I would like, this is still a possibility, but I'd like to see if maybe we could get a song that you and I collaborate together on and throw that on as an additional track or something of that nature, but to showcase, what it's like for us to do this together. But he has been hugely instrumental in this whole thing because, one, he's programmed the drums, which was, I could have done it myself, but he just ran with it once he figured it out. And a lot of his interpretations on things were really cool. So I, want to point that out, that he, even though he didn't get behind the kit, which is right behind us over here, behind August, which he can actually play drums. And, he can hold his own. He I don't know if he would want to play in a band or anything like that, but when I've, been sitting in the kitchen, and he sneaks into the room here, and all of a sudden I start hearing the drums playing. Because, there was a time where you didn't know what you were doing. I don't even remember that. And all of a sudden, it's like one day I walked in and he's just sitting there totally going to Rage Against the Machine. I have to, wasn't it Rage?
I think it was. It might have been. I don't even remember, honestly.
But
I didn't know what the drums. I don't know. I didn't know how to drum. Yeah, I had no idea until one day I just thought, wait a minute, I get it.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. I can't explain it. You just get it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he's got the talent for it. And the thing is that the big thing, even though you're writing drums in a program such as Logic or even on an SR16, it's all about rhythm and it's all about being able to hear the parts. And August has been really good with that. And he's been really good with hearing second guitar parts. There might be a song or two where I had suggested something to him, but by and large, he took those guitar parts and he ran with them. And I gave him the freedom to interpret it the way he wanted to. And I think he did an excellent job. And I think that for people that are fans of rock music, especially in a kind of a 90s flair, with, songs and, you need to correct your mic there? You need to...
Yeah, it's starting to fall.
Drop on you?
Bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be that nut over there. I'll tell you what, let me pause this real quick. All right, we're back.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Kind of.
Which we had some of those too.
Oh, yeah.
With the recording.
Yeah, no, definitely some technical difficulties, some confusion. We don't really know how computers work. We're not computer scientists, so...
Well, we had technical difficulties in that regard. Technical difficulties for me in my Mac laptop, which I bought used, but it's supposed to be powerful enough to do this stuff, which it does for the most part with the recordings. But I have a thing on this computer where I have to dump the memory every once in a while, because if I don't, it starts kind of just running slow and jittery and stuff like that. So I was up against that. We were up against, what else? There were just all kinds of weird little anomalies.
Well, a lot of this album was recorded during my school year, so...
Yeah, so a lot of the programming of the drums August was doing at school.
I did at school. I programmed a lot of those drums at school.
Right in the middle of class.
In the middle of class, when I should have been learning about what happened at the Delaware, I'm writing a song about Jesus instead. I'm not writing a song, but writing a drum part to a song.
To like Jesus. Yeah. So,
So, yeah. It was fun, though. It was fun. It was a good experience. It can be frustrating at times.
Yeah.
And with technical difficulties, it's not just the computers. Sometimes it's these. Sometimes I'm not playing the part very well, and we just got to record it another time.
Oh God, how many times? There were a couple times where I was trying to track and I just could not
both
nail
of
it.
us, yeah. Like I had trouble.
But I would get pissed. I would.
I had trouble with like Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's unique. It's a unique experience.
The trials and tribulations of putting an album together, which we actually are putting a full album together, and now we're in the stages where I'm going and trying to do all the back end work and the administrative stuff and registering the songs with ASCAP and making sure that the serial number for the song is baked into the MP3 file or WAV file, so that when I do start sending these out, that they can track that for royalty reasons. I'm really proud of this album. It's like I was saying, it's songs that I've dug out from the past, from back in the 90s. But this is where I think August kind of gives a spin with his guitar parts, because for me personally, because I've known these songs and playing these songs for decades, but I can't, at this point now, I can't hear my songs without his parts. So that's how, like, his parts were in these songs, and that's why the songs are powerful. They're good. Some are kind of poppy. I mean, you know, I don't have much of a metal background. He does. He's starting to get a metal background. I mean, I grew up on listening to Neil Diamond, and then that parlayed into Night Ranger and Huey Lewis and the News, Michael Jackson, New Edition.
Yeah.
Just Winger. I mean, I was in all the weird bands, you know, and when I was in all the weird bands, then all my peers were into Guns N' Roses and Black Flag and Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that, Jimi Hendrix. And I eventually became a Hendrix fan, but a lot of these other bands that my friends were into, like Zeppelin and the Stones and all that stuff, I just didn't care for them, and even to this day. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, blasphemy that, you know, you don't care for Zeppelin." I don't, you know. I mean, I think Bonham's a great drummer. He's got some great drum beats, and John Paul Jones is a great bass player. I think he's got some tasty bass licks. But I'm not. Jimmy Page just doesn't do anything for me, you know. And Robert Plant, I just never was a big fan of him either. I'm so about Pink Floyd, and I only got into Pink Floyd because I smoked copious amounts of weed back in my, you know, late teen years and early 20s. So that was, you know, I remember hearing Comfortably Numb, riding in the car with my girlfriend's friend's boyfriend, and his name was Todd, and we were baked out of our minds. And I remember Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb coming on, and we had to pull over, and I felt like I melted into the passenger seat of the car while that song was going. So,
I'm not going to speak any words about music. I don't want to. If you want to get mauled by the crowd, then go ahead. Well, I don't want to get mauled.
I'm just saying that. I mean, you know, my musical tastes changed as I got into my adult years, but that's because a big part of that was being introduced to weed. You know, my first concert was 9 years old. I went to see Neil Diamond with my folks, and you have not been to a concert yet.
I'm going to be going to one.
He just turned 17 this past August.
I did. A week ago.
Yeah.
And on the 31st, I'm going to be going to see the 311 concert.
Yep. At Marymore Park in Redmond.
Yeah, Redmond.
And this will be my second time for sure, maybe third time. I know I went to see him with your mom and your siblings way back in 2006, I think it was, or
yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was like right before you were born.
Yeah, I wasn't a thing.
9 months before.
I wasn't a person. Yeah. You say like, oh, I have a metal background. I mean, how could I not when you introduced me to System of a Down so young?
Well, this is true. I used to play System
Foo
Fighters,
and 311.
And 311.
Those are like my big three starting out.
Yeah.
How can I not get into metal? That's the big question. Not why am I into metal?
I used to put him to bed to those bands.
Yeah, which is why I can sleep to music like that.
So.
Yeah, it's.
But as far as August goes, as a side note, he's been coming up with his own music, and he's got 6 or 7 songs written already.
I'd say 6.
And some of them, I'm like, whoa. And typically they might not have been my style of music, but hearing his spin on this style of music, Sounds amazing. He's been, he was for a week, just our first week of vacation together.
It was that 1 week of vacation. My writer's block got lifted.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It was good. And,
I'm free like a bird.
Yeah. And so I'm actually looking forward to him putting that album together. And, and if he wants to try to bring that sound into this band, I'm welcome to it. But if he also wants to maybe take it and create another project with it too, I'm also open to that, because I want him to be able to do that music, because it's really good. It sounds amazing, and it's good for your soul. I mean, I know, I've been doing this for a long time, and this time people are going to know about this music. And people started to know about my music way back then, back in St. Louis, when I was super conscious, long before Dog Stare, long before August. And things in life just kind of knocked me off the path of the music for a while. When he came along, I decided to focus on him and only him, and raising him and getting custody of him, which I finally did, which that whole thing will be ending in less than a year. And now that, we're together and we can work together, we put this album together, I want to get out and get some shows under our belt, and just people to get exposed to this music, because it's my lyrics. I try to keep them decent. I don't talk about risque topics, and I try not to, sing about things that would lead people into, bad areas or whatever. So my music's supposed to make you feel good. That's the whole reason why I'm writing it, is because I want to, even though some of the things I'm talking about in some of the songs can be sad or even, a little daunting, it's set to music that's supposed to lift you up, and it always tells a story of some time.
It could strike a chord within you.
Yeah. So
definitely.
Anyway, we're looking forward to presenting this stuff to you. We're looking forward to trying to take this stuff to the next level. And a lot of that's going to come with your help. If you really do enjoy our music, and if you enjoy what we're doing, even just bringing you these, low-key videos just talking about things, and we're planning on doing this at least once a week to try to keep things fluid with our Dog Stare project, and keep the algorithm picking us up so that we can get out to more people like you. So
we can get some shows going and play for Tacoma and even some other places. But
that's just it. Yeah. So next step is trying to get some shows lined up. And you probably wonder, how are you going to play the shows without a bass player and a drummer? That's a good question. Right now the plan is to play to the drums and bass as a backing track. They're the backing track, and we play our parts and sing live. And so
using a PA.
A PA. To amplify, obviously, our voices, and then the drums and the bass,
right,
so that you can hear it. And then we're going to be using in-ear monitors so that we don't have to rely on floor monitors for feedback reasons, but then also so we can just get, because we're going to need to hear click tracks in our ears to be able to start the song off, so that the rest of the audience doesn't hear the click tracks. So, stuff like that. And we've got to work all that stuff out. We're going to be using Stage Tracks 3, which is a program that's designed exactly for people like us in this situation where, we need to use backing tracks, be able to see, we can have the set list on there, we can adjust the set list per show, stuff like that. So I'm kind of not looking forward to it, but then again, it's part of the territory, and who knows, maybe when I get done on the other end of it and learning it, maybe I'll enjoy it. So, but we definitely, when we finally do start coming out and bringing you our live shows, we want them to be top notch, and we want them to be the best that they can be, and that you walk away feeling that your time spent watching us, or even money spent watching us, was well deserved. And so,
who knows, maybe live shows could be different from the studio.
Possibly.
Right.
But we just do. We look forward to August actually ran sound this past weekend.
Yeah, I ran sound at a show in Seattle, a show under the First Avenue Bridge. Some people might know what that is. It's usually a punk scene, and I got to run the sound with a former manager, my former manager at a job that I work at.
Yep.
But it was my first gig.
Yeah.
And I got to run sound at the first gig I ever went to, which I think that's pretty cool.
Which ironically was on the Tascam Model 12 soundboard, which is, You know what?
It's this board right here.
This guy right here.
We're actually using right now.
Yep.
So
yeah, we're using it for this video. So
it's great.
So yeah, it was nice for August to be able to be familiar with that. But just
it looks like you still
we're still alive. Yeah. So, but just the fact that he got to, be in that environment and see some live bands for once. Like I said, he's not seen a actual concert.
I've never gone to any gigs. And the fact that the first gig I went to, I got to actually affect the sound of it, was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think I did pretty good. So.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to getting back into the music. I mean, I'm probably insane and out of my mind that I'm getting back into music at the age of 53. I know what the industry's about, and that's part of why I didn't make it big the first time around, because I wasn't so quick to want to sell my soul, if you know what I mean. And so I've always been trying to do this on my own terms. And yeah, it would always be great to have the help of a big major record label who, gets the exposure for you and pushes your material to the radio stations all over the country, because that's the back end stuff I'm talking about right now that I'm doing right now. And it's a lot of extra work. I mean, it's a full-time job in itself, and then you're trying to do the music, which is the part that I love doing. So, so when you're doing things on your own, I mean, not that I dislike this guy, but for example, like Tom McDonald, that guy is self-promoting himself, and he's got his family. He's basically hired his family because, I mean, he's rolling in some money now, and so he's able to actually hire family. But from what I understand, it started with him and his girlfriend, Nova Rockefeller. And then, I guess as things picked up and he actually started getting some cash flow, then he was able to say, and go to family and say, hey, I can, will you help with this, and I'll pay you, X amount of money to do it. Because really, I mean, we all want to do stuff with some kind of a financial gain in the end, because that's how this world works, unfortunately. That's how it operates.
Yeah, I respect how he does it.
Yeah. But as far as that goes, yeah, he pushes hard, and that's all he does. I have to work a 8-hour, a day job with a half-hour lunch that makes my day actually 8.5 hours. And then he's got school. So that's why this has been kind of a slow burn for us to get this going. But now that we're here, I really want to make it so that when we actually bring this to the public, that when we hit the ground running, keep knocking me down. That we actually, that we can go with that momentum and hope that the momentum that we're going to be generating is there to get us to where we want to be. Basically, when we want to be able to become self-reliant and self-sufficient through our own, doings, and that, we're reaching people and bringing some good entertainment.
That's causing a lot of noise.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, good
also,
call.
This chair.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Well, we're going to need a noise
our last video, August got drowned out of the recording. At least this time around we can hear him, but now we've got all the extra...
I didn't have anything important to say anyway.
He did, but...
I probably talked about, I don't know, a drive-by or something. I don't know.
No, you were talking about the album, I think.
Something. Anyways.
But yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Probably went a little bit longer than I hoped originally, but...
movie magic.
Movie magic, Anyway, we're looking forward to bringing you some music. Again, it's I wish I could release it now, but I want to make sure that my ducks in a row to make sure that if one of these songs goes big, who knows? I mean, I don't know what I'm sitting on. I know I like it. I mean, you have to like your own music in order to do it, or otherwise it would be just horrible to... it'd be painful, So I do enjoy what I do. I'm just hoping that at least one of these songs helps me find the, modest success that I've been seeking for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to then share that with him, and then make that a stepping stool for him, or a stepping stone for him to...
Modest?
Try to.
Well, I mean, why are you shooting that low? You gotta aim a little higher,
Okay, you got a point.
All
right. Well, I'm just trying to do it without tooting my own horn. But this whole thing is about... I'm tooting my own horn.
If you aim like that, you might get lower. But if you aim like that, you might hit where you actually want to go, right? I mean...
Well, that's what they say. The higher you aim, even if you don't hit what you're shooting for, you're still going to end up higher than if you aim low to begin with.
Drug kingpin. That's an exception.
All right.
If you fail that, you're going to prison.
Go to dogstereo.com. We have 3 songs up there right now for sale. I'm going to have hopefully the rest of the songs up by September 11th, which that's the goal, and that's why I'm pushing for this. And a whole a file that you can buy as the album itself, or you can just buy individual songs.
And the people who have already supported us,
thank you.
Two people come to mind. Thank you. I'll say their names.
Please.
I'll text them after this recording.
One already is on our website. That's Ray Reyes.
That's Ray Reyes.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Ray.
it.
Thank you very much. You're a real one. You know what I would actually say.
Auga!
Yeah. And Killian, thank you, man.
Thank you, Killian.
Really,
we do appreciate your support. Is that the guy that bought 3 of them?
Yeah.
Thank you, Killian.
Yeah.
Thank you. You
Killian.
rock. You do.
I don't think you realize how much this means to my dad.
it means a lot, and I mean, I hope you enjoy those songs. And there are going to be more to come.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to put you on the website too, Killian. I got Ray up there.
I'll text him after this. Ask him if that's cool. But yeah, thank
I
you
would
to those two guys.
Yeah. So anyway, we appreciate what fans we've already got, and we really look forward to gaining the new fans and coming on this journey with us.
Yeah.
This is a journey, and we want you to come with us on this journey.
It's a journey. It's going to be a cool one, too.
Yep. Anyway, God bless everyone, and Jesus did die for us.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing this. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm getting back into this crazy thing, because I know I'm doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this has been Richard.
Brisco.
Yeah.
Dogstare.com. Next time.
Do it.
Dad!
Do it.